you're so cute. Hi, pretty baby. You have your little burrito? You look so cute. I love that you love that spot. Oh. Fuck, now I want to get under the blanket. Hello, hello. Ugh. I have an ovarian cyst. It hurts so bad. It's gnarly. It's a bad one. It's like probably, I don't know. I've had some pretty bad ones, but this is pretty up there. The stalkers are trying to curse me. All they're doing is just making life a little bit harder, but they're not going to stop me. Still going to do all the things I want to do. I took off work today. Wait, no. I wasn't supposed to work today. Oh! My knee did not like that. It's not an antibiotic thing. Antibiotics won't help. Unfortunately, ovarian cysts are not bacterial related in that way. An ovarian cyst is, the cyst is the name for something that's a fluid-filled pocket. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, yucky. I mean, it's yucky, you know. But anyway, an ovarian cyst is when an egg, so an ovary looks like a giant pimple pick-me, like pick thing. It's like, it's a thing, and it gets little pimples on it. And when the pimple pops, that's the egg. And all of the hormone chemicals that go and signal to the sperm to either wake up or go to sleep or come this way or whatever. So an ovarian cyst is when the pimple does not pop and it just keeps growing. And it gets bigger and 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 bigger. So we are either at the stage where it's big enough now that my intestines, if there's like poop in the pipe, any movement in my intestines will graze in that area or cause pressure in that area. So that hurts. I felt better for a little while after I pooped this morning, but it came back very quickly. I pretty much feel like the pain is like cutting straight through me, like a pull, like if you were just where the ovary is, straight through the back. That's where the pain is mostly, is straight through the center of in my core area. And so it feels kind of like a really bad sciatic pain. that no matter where you sit, what way you sit, how you move your legs, you cannot find that one spot that kind of takes the pressure off. There's none of that. Everywhere I move, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. It's just a constant pain. It just fucking constantly hurts. It just hurts really bad. And hopefully, though, I'm hoping that maybe the pain is it's about to rupture, and that would be just great. The pain hurts, the rupturing hurts, but man, is it relieving afterwards. So, yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. It sucks. It's crazy too, because listen, I started getting all these fucking weird pimples. Like, I got this pimple on my lip here. I had this pimple on that skin. Have you ever had a pimple on your eyelid skin? And I'm not talking about your eyebrow skin. I'm talking about this skin here. That's what this skin right here is, where this pimple is. It's still on my eyelid enough that it's still that slippery eyelid skin. It's not my eyebrow skin or whatever. It's not normal skin. It's that very soft, papery skin. And so popping it was an absolute pain, nightmare, hell. It's like trying to pop something on the edge of your lip or on the tip of your edge of your nose hole. Like, it just sent like an immediate like nerve all the way around the back of my head. My neck hurt over here. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. So I've just been living with pimple patches on it for the last couple of days because I'm just hopeful that it will stop it hurting. But as soon as those pimples started coming, I was like, those are weird pimples. I don't usually get pimples like that. I don't usually get pimples that are like surface layer. You know what I mean? Like, they're like ones that look like ant bites. They're like a pimple that has like a big white head on it or something like that. Those are pimples that are caused from like surface layer stuff. When I was a teenager, like I've been to the beach, okay? You go to the beach and then you don't shower immediately after, like rinse off, and then you go about your day, like thinking, oh, it's totally fine. I'm from Florida. I'm a Floridian. I don't have to do that. Yeah, you do actually, because you'll get little pimples all over your face from the bacteria in the water. But anyways, so I started getting those pimples like that. And that's what kind of pimple this one is, and this one. And I was like, what the fuck? That's weird. I got a cyst. I have a cyst. I mean, I knew I was getting pimples because my period was coming. Plus, Nikki's on her period. Sorry, Nikki. Nikki's on her period, and Nikki's and my cycle have been kind of synced up for a while now. I'm telling you what, though, man. Whew. You guys, did you see hypochondriac? Did you guys see the video yesterday? So, I've got, the fucked up wrist or whatever. So my client that I work for, was supposed to, like, yesterday was a raking day. And so, I get to work and he's like, I go to get on the four-wheeler, like, he's in the tractor or whatever. I don't know what it's called, tractor. He's on the tractor. I'm on the four-wheeler. I was about to load the trailer up to the four-wheeler and get all ready for work. And he was like, nope. He's like, you're on the tractor today. And I was like, what do you mean I'm on the tractor today? I'm scared of it. I'm scared of the tractor. I'm scared of machinery in general. And with like the tractor, one, it's top heavy, and two, so like you could totally tip over easily in that thing if you are on a tilt or whatever. I was very scared a couple of times because he made me drive down a hill and then scoop stuff up or whatever. Not scoop stuff up, but he has these things, this kind of thing on the front of it. And so he was raking them into piles, which I already raked them on Sunday. I raked a bunch of shit. That's why my wrist is fucked. But I raked a bunch of shit on Sunday, and then he like was just neatening up the piles, and like, a couple days of people like driving by in wind and whatever. So he was just neatening things up and making them into like more succinct, bigger piles. And then I came in with the tractor and I had to lower the thing go, you know, up to the pile a little bit, then tilt it, push it in so that I move the pile a little bit so it pushes, you know, it gets everything that direction. And then you take the thing, you tilt it over, and then you're kind of scooping it like that. You're like doing like a this number more so than just like a, you have to like go in and then clamp it. And in order to do that, like it's an easy you see, it's so easy. Oh, up, down, left, right. Yeah. But the controls to do it all, one, my hand is fucked. And so I'm scared. So I'm trying to do things very slow. And when you're doing things slow, you have to like use the muscle to make it just move a fraction of an inch. And it was difficult. I had to use 2 hands at some point, but it was confusing as hell. But so I did like 20 loads. I like picked it up, brought it all the way to the pile. And then I asked him, I was like, would it be okay if I like go to, I played in the pile for a little while to get some like practice and kind of get my bearings a little bit? And he was like, yes, go ahead. And so he's like, actually, I was going to ask you to push the pile smaller and like, you know, bring it in a little bit so that when I burn it, it's not, you know, 20 foot across fire. It's only like a 10 foot across fire. So, so I was practicing, you know, doing the things. And then I got down to a system where I was able to like make the scoop flatten the top of the pile a little bit and prepare it for the next load. So then when I would come in and then drop the load onto it, I would just come straight down and kind of pack it down. I did the pile at the end of the day was 12 foot high. It's probably like 10 foot high, maybe not quite 12 feet. It was twice my height, basically. The pile was like twice my height, and then it was like probably 12 feet across. It was crazy. I did not know that stuff was so fun. I mean, I had an idea. I'm going to get my son, I think, into heavy machinery like that because he likes video games, and I think that that is about as close to real life video gaming as you can actually get. It's funny. I'm a hypochondriac because I talk about like what's actually going on in my life right now. Meanwhile, I was out fucking working with a fucked up wrist. I'm not letting it slow me down. A hypochondriac uses illness as an excuse. There's no excusing anything. This is what it is happening, and I also have to go to work. I'm not gonna let it slow me down. Fortunately, there are ways to knit where I don't have to use my right hand for anything much other than a stabilizing thing. Because I really did want to learn how to hold my string in my other hand, in my right hand. It's mirrored for you guys, but this is my right hand. Oh, I know. This is my right hand, and I wanted to do the knitting thing where you hold the string with this hand and then you grab the loop and then you use this hand to shuttle the string around the needle, but I can't. Oh man, dude, this fucking hurts. It's the kind of pain that makes you nauseated. I had to take a Zofran last night. So I went to, it was weird too because it wasn't bothering me. Like I didn't have any like pain in my body like from ovaries or anything. I went to work. I had a great day at work. I was doing just fine. And then when I got on my way home from work, I was uncomfortable in the car. Like no matter where I sat, I thought my back was hurt. I thought I was trying to like adjust my hips. I was trying to like, you know, move my SI joint a little and try to like do some hip flexing and some pelvic flexion as well. And none of that was helping. And so I came home and I got in bed, you know, I came home, got settled, laid down, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, my sciatic is hurting really bad. So then I was like, all right, well, let me stretch. I'm at home now, so now I can, like, I'm not in the car, I've got more range of motion. So I started to stretch and very quickly realized, oh, you have a cyst, bitch. This specific type of pain, like, it's very, it's like, it's the same every time. This cyst pain, but I haven't had a cyst in so long. It's been so long since I had any issues that all I could think of that could possibly be going wrong is I've hurt my wrist, and so now I must be like using other muscles and, doing something to favor the other side. And now I've thrown myself out of whack. That's what I thought. God damn, dude, it hurts so bad. I just want to get comfortable. Like, I just want to sit somewhere that it doesn't feel like something is stabbing me. That feels good. Not anymore. I just like want to take like all the pressure. I wonder if hanging upside down would make me feel better. I should go hang upside down for a minute. Is it raining? Let's finish this row and then I'll go hang upside down for a minute. It's wet right now though, because it rained last night and the tarp got blown off of it. New Year's was great. I took Elliot and Josh to a fancy lunch/dinner. I mean, it kind of sounds like it's raining. But I can't tell. I went to bed at like 11 o'clock. I tried to make it. I couldn't make it. And I assumed New Year's happened shortly after I fell asleep because I heard some fireworks in the distance. And then I saw someone complaining in our community group that someone was setting off illegal fireworks. This is the fucking the national forest, so you got to be careful about shit like that. Wildfires are fucking super serial. Like, even though it's the wet season, shit could still catch on fire. It just won't burn for as long or get as out of control, but it could still catch fire. That's why there's so many stove-related fires out there. You know, I need to get a thingamabob. I'm drowsy all of a sudden. Might be from that Zofran I took. Heather, you need to hurry up if you want to hang for a minute, because it's about to start raining, dude. I've decided that after I'm done with this, I'm going to knit a sweater. I am just going to make a big triangle. I'm practicing increasing and decreasing, and this is just, it's going to be like basically a shawl, or I don't know, just a big triangle. I'm trying to just get the muscle memory for knitting. So I'm just trying to just do basically the same thing over and 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 over again, thousands of times, while I practice. And then, you know, as I fuck up, I'm learning things. Like, there's mistakes in here, you know, I've made mistakes, quite a few actually. So you can see there's a lot of mistakes happening early on. There's a lot of mistakes early on, but it's gotten slightly better. And the rows are starting to get more consistent. This kind of stuff where it's gappy between the lines, where it's jaggedy, that's normal. That'll just be fixed in the blocking process. But yeah, I've started to learn how to pick up dropped stitches, which I didn't know how to do before. And I made a hole here. I don't know how. I couldn't replicate that again if I tried, but it's like a perfect hole. So maybe one day I'll figure it out, how I did that. But yeah, I'm just gonna make a stretchy triangle just so that I can practice. I'm just practicing. I'm just learning right now. I'm not really making anything yet. I'm doing the thing I tell all of the people. I've got Whirly Girl, one of my friends from back home, and another friend here locally are all right now, right at the end of December, deciding to crochet and message me about it. And so I'm going to try to get a little group together of people who want to do fibery things together. And then we can work on, you know, team projects and stuff. I think that would be fun. But I've been giving people advice based on like what worked for me when I was learning and what didn't work for me. I'm not the kind of person who typically does this, where I just do the same thing over and over again to practice, get the muscle memory. I jumped into the deep end. When I decided to learn how to crochet, I bought a pattern for a mandala vest. It's a very complicated crochet pattern. I haven't done it again since, or I did it a couple times early on, but I haven't done it since. I've like now that I fundamentally understand everything about crochet and like how each stitch is doing what it's doing, I should go back and remake it because I think I'd have a lot more fun. But I was struggling. I was very frustrated. I was a grumpy asshole for like a week. What was I gonna do? Go hang. Forget you're hurt. Already gave you the time and place. Don't be shy. Home be open. Oh, I'm gonna get wet. Should bring a towel or something. Stairs hurt most. a lot of floaters in my eyes right now. My shoulders do not want to move that way. See the floaters with my eyes closed. Nothing fell out already. That would have sucked. Buddy, you can't be sitting here in front of the heater like that. Catch yourself on fire. What did I get for dessert yesterday? Blackberry poke cake. That's right. Moving sucks. Yeah. Dude, these things work so good. Stop, you fucking psycho. Just move slow, move slow, move slow. I'm gonna hurt myself a lot forgetting that I can't move quickly. Like when I put my foot down on the ground, the right foot touching the ground, it hurts. Like, I don't know how to explain it. What's going on with my skin and shit, dude? I'm all fucked up right now. Oh yeah? Oh man, I should go to Josh's house. Take a shower. I should take a bath. Here, right now. It's so cold outside, I don't really want to go. Girl! Back up! How is this happening? I don't know. For some reason. I fed you already, you dingus. You have food over here, cat. Ah! Oh, I gotta go get the dry food out of the car. No, I got it out of the car already. Oh, no, you don't want that, huh? Yeah, of course not. You want liquid gold. One sec. You know what's funny is I've got Orly trained to respond to me going, oh shit. Anytime. Where's my jewel? Oh, thank God. Anytime I am feeding the cats and then I go, oh shit. He knows that it means I've spilled cat food. And he immediately comes running because it's the only time I just willingly hand him over cat food. Look, he's already here thinking it because I said the words. No, Orly. There you go, buddy. You can have one piece. Why is the tablet dead? like walking around. It feels exactly like I'm walking around with an exposed sharp item inside of my body. And if I accidentally lean one way or step one way, the thing that's sharp, like let's just picture like a ball with like spikes that are razor sharp on it, is just floating in the middle of my body right now, right? But if I like move in a certain way or like lean or anything, and that ball comes into contact with anything inside of me, immediate pain. I mean, it hurts constantly, like I'm constantly feeling the pain, but it's tolerable. It's just kind of mildly annoying. I don't like it, the pain. But when I lean over or I step wrong or whatever, move too quick, it's sudden and sharp, and it hurts. I don't like it. And I am the kind of person, I don't believe in keeping quiet when something bothers me, so I'm just going to continue to little teapot myself to death over here, okay? I need green medicine, liquid green medicine, to rub on my abdomen. What is that? Oh my God, is that an axolotl? That's the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning, was a neighbor sending me a picture of an axolotl.
Hello everybody, how are you doing this fine Saturday, January 3rd? Well, I have an announcement to make. Lily Phillips, adult film star, done got baptized. She done got baptized, and apparently she'd been baptized before, but the internet is in an uproar, okay? The Christians are speaking, the non-Christians are speaking, so I wanted to get my little, 2 cents in. I wanted to get my little 2 cents in because I kind of, I don't know, perhaps publicly prayed for this earlier. So let me just show y'all everything that there is to show at this point. So here is Lily Phillips' Instagram. She did post this one day ago. Now I'm not going to play it with the volume on because it is a song by Kanye West.
In 2005, Stephenie Meyer released Twilight, a vampire romance set in the town of Forks, Washington. Forks, Washington is actually a real small town, and as you might imagine, a multi-million-dollar franchise being set there has had a life-changing effect on this tiny town. One of the effects is that the town now hosts an annual Twilight Festival, the Forever Twilight in Forks Festival, and I went to this festival. You may assume that I'm a big Twilight fan because of this and the fact that I knew about this festival and flew out to attend it. I would say that I have sort of a complicated relationship with Twilight, as many people do, I think. It's a very flawed series. Many people have dissected those flaws better than I could. I recommend the book Why We Love and Hate Twilight by Sarah Elizabeth Gallagher, but that's not really what this video is. I got into Twilight in 2018. Around this time, there were a lot of think pieces and retrospectives about Twilight. It had been sort of long enough since the initial craze had died down that people were thinking back on it more critically and in a new light. And since it was back in the public consciousness, I became reminded of it. And I was like, hey, what is going on with Twilight? You know? So I watched the movies, which are a very fun time. And then I was like, well, now I gotta read the books. Which this was also a fun time to get into Twilight because it was a period of a few years now referred to as the Twilight Renaissance. A lot of people were getting into it or into it for the first time and making a lot of memes, having critical discussions about it. There was a lot of Twilight fan content on Tumblr, effervescent. So I think I also happened to be getting into it at like a really
Hello, how are you?
on it as being very fun. You know, it was my senior year of high school.
I am I'm great.
Through it medically,
Everything is great.
And thus by extension, psychologically. And I have such vivid memories of listening to the Twilight audiobooks, which are narrated by Ileana Kadushin, the Kadoosh. I don't know if they're like, good is a strong word. That sounds too critical. I don't know if they're like fitting. I don't think I listen to Ileana's voice and think like, yeah, that's what these characters sound like. That's the vibe of this series. But in some ways that is like part of the experience.
Oh, now I have to listen to the Twilight audiobook.
To audiobooks sped up, even though I read much faster than an audiobook at normal speed. So me and Ileana Kadushin spent a lot of time together. I also had a playlist. I still have a playlist. I can link it if you guys want. It's covertly a Twilight playlist. It's all like moody folk songs, and I would listen to that a lot. Sufjan Stevens was my #1 artist in my Spotify Wrapped for multiple years because of it. Yeah, it was just an era of listening to a lot of Twilight stuff, which if you want to listen to some Twilight stuff, you may be interested in the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. Raycon makes awesome earbuds.
No, they don't. How are these Raycon earbuds? Oh, I know, because of influencers. That's...
I don't do that. What I do is I lie down a lot. And these are great for that. Because they're very like flat and flush to your ear. Like they don't poke out at all. So if you're like lying curled up against a pillow, they're not gonna like squish your ears. I really love them. I think they're great. And if you're interested in trying them for yourself, click the link in the description or head to buyraycon.com/SarahSarah to get up to 30% off during Raycon's Black Friday and...
You really like those Raycons?
Cyber Monday sale. Thank you again, Raycon. So, I've been into Twilight for a while, right? And I actually got my friend into it back in the day. And we had a loose plan to take a road trip up to Forks, Washington. This was going to be...
I knew she was somewhere local.
Spring break or summer of 2020. So, that didn't happen. And in some ways, I'm glad we didn't do that. Forks is 1,200 miles away from Los Angeles, which would have been a 20-hour road trip. And we weren't planning on going during the Twilight Festival. We were just going to go like a random time. And when the festival isn't happening, there's not like a ton to do. This is just a random small town. It was never intended to be this famous. It used to be the center of the logging industry, but that was like already declining by the 90s. It is a town of 3,400 people, which is less than the population of my high school. It's literally a one stoplight town. It's super remote. It is surrounded by the Olympic National Forest. So they get a lot
I went on a road trip through the Olympic National Forest in 2021, and we stopped at Forks and all that stuff.
What metric we're measuring, if it's number of days per year of rain or inches.
We went to see the
it's a very rainy place.
the rainforest there.
Then in Twilight,
There's this
Vampires
place
sparkle in the sun.
in the Olympic National Forest called the Hall of Moss. Dude, if you ever go on a road trip to the PNW, make sure that you go to the Hall of Moss. It is an old growth, ancient forest with like mosses and stuff that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. Like, it's like the moss is like tendrils coming off of the trees. It's insane. Like the, you know, the old man's beard moss, it's like 60 feet long, 100 feet long, like, and it's just everywhere. It's magical. They have, unfortunately, kind of turned it into like a touristy place in a sense. So like there's like, they've taken wood and they've made like, you know, they've made like a path. It's not quite just an area to explore, but it's also remote, so it's not usually super crazy packed, but it's a must see. If you grew up liking the movie Fern Gully, then you must go.
So the Cullen vampires live in very cloudy places so that they can stay in one place and conceal the fact that they are vampires. So apparently in 2003, Stephanie Meyer was searching the internet for rainy, cloudy places, and she found Forks. And I think she became like enamored with the name Forks. It's referring to like forks in a river, because there's a river that forks into different branches, and so that's why they named it that. And it is a quaint name. For a time, she was planning on naming the book Forks. On the blog section of her website, she has a cover mock-up that she made of the first Twilight book titled Forks with a pen name that she was planning on using at the time, which I think we can agree that Twilight is a better name for this book than Forks would have been. Twilight is a lot more evocative and moody and vampiric versus Forks. But despite how in love she was with the concept of Forks and the name, she didn't visit Forks until after she had finished writing Twilight. So the depiction of Forks in the novel is all based on her imagination and whatever she could find online, which this was like 2003, so I don't know how much Forks information there was online. Even now, I'm underwhelmed by the amount of Forks information online, so I can't imagine it was better back then. My main question is why she felt the need to choose a real town in the first place. I guess she wanted it to feel more grounded, but I feel like typically when stories are set somewhere that isn't a famous known city, it's a fictional location. Stars Hollow, Pawnee, Springfield, because now this
Springfield is real,
very small
honey.
town is
She
eternally
doesn't.
related
FYI, Springfield exists! Exclamation point. Springfield, Oregon is the hometown of The Simpsons.
to this vampire YA series. I guess you could argue that she didn't know Twilight was going to blow up in the way that it did, and so the effect on this small town was unintentional. But I don't know. I still think it's weird, especially because not only was she using the real town, she was using the real local Native American tribe. The Quileute are a real-life group of people, still around, still live in the area, and Stephanie Meyer not only put them in her books, but she also invented a complex werewolf mythology that she then attributed to the Quileute legends, which I think was a disrespectful thing to do. I wish she had not done that. But as of now, in 2025,
Okay, Miss
the town
Privilege.
of Forks as a whole seems to have a
This chick is
generally
such a
positive
blowhard. I
to
honestly
neutral
can't stand her,
relationship
but
with the concept of
I don't know. I've been watching
I
her.
think everyone's kind of
I'm starved for book and movie
a
reviews.
lot of local businesses do with Twilight. A lot of restaurants have Twilight-themed menu items. And while I was there, I did ask a few locals, like, how do you feel about this whole thing? And the response seemed to be, we get a lot of tourists. We get a lot of tourists for hiking. It's whatever. I was like, okay. I mean, maybe they were just being nice to my face because they knew that's why I was there. I don't know, everyone seemed pretty chill about it. And I think, to be fair,
They have a festival.
we are now 20 years on from the first book being published in 2005. At this point, Twilight tourism is kind of normal for this town. I think people have kind of gotten used to it. And I think it also helps that it's not as crazy big as it was. At the height of the Twilight franchise, Forks was seeing thousands of Twilight tourists.
If you're into fitness and live in Northern California, there's a decent chance you've heard of Holmes Nutrition. Anyone that has tried Holmes Nutrition protein powder would say the following two things about it. One, that it's the most delicious protein powder they've ever had. And two, that it tastes just like cake batter. The powder itself even advertises how it's great for baking. One scoop has 22 grams of protein and only 3 grams of sugar, but it tastes so much like cake batter that someone got suspicious. This Redditor sent in 3 different flavors of Holmes Nutrition to a lab. They sent samples of chocolate cake, lemon cake, and cinnamon crumb cake to this lab, Certified Laboratories, and all 3 powders came back with the same results. Instead of 22 grams of protein, this protein powder had 21 grams of carbs instead and only 3.4 grams of protein per scoop. Ever since going to the Muscle Girls Cafe in Tokyo, Japan, and subsequently watching Physical 100, I've been absolutely obsessed with getting buff and working out. I was lifting at the gym 5 days a week, and of course, I was hitting my protein macros each and every day. Or so I thought. So you can imagine my absolute despair and nausea when I found out that my favorite protein powder that I had been using for years was not even protein powder at all. Just a sweet batter mix with trace amounts of protein. An egg, a single egg, had double the amount of protein than my protein powder had. The protein powder I was spending $75 per bag on. For years, I unknowingly was essentially working out and then immediately celebrating afterwards each day with a scoop of cake batter.
It's literally titled cake batter.
I can't just sit and stew in my room.
That's what you get for wanting to eat cake batter, flavored, healthy food.
Because this is crazy.
This should be a lesson to everyone! Exclamation point. Stop trying to eat garbage flavored things instead of just eating something good for you. That doesn't make sense. Let's rephrase that. Everyone, period. If you want something healthy, and you also want it to taste like cake batter, ... it's probably cake batter. I can't think of how to phrase this for some reason. Eating something flavored like cake batter in lieu of something that is I'm not going to leave the comment because I can't think of how I want to type it.
Holmes Nutrition Protein Powder is
My brain
not
isn't
sold
working.
in a big box
I'm medicated.
or on Amazon. It's a company created by Sacramento-based bodybuilder Bobby Holmes and his wife. It's only available on its website, holmesnutrition.com. So,
Dude,
how
a
did I
bodybuilder
find
guy?
out about this protein powder in the first place? Well, the smoothies that my gym made were fantastic. So one day I peeped at the protein powder they use and I wrote it down and then went home and started buying some. And it was just delicious. It got to the point that any person that entered my house, I would be offering them some of this amazing protein powder, saying it tastes just like cake batter, and they would agree. I felt like I discovered the holy grail of protein. It's so sweet, but only has 3 grams of sugar. Most protein powders use artificial sweeteners, but this one uses cane sugar, sweet whey, and creamer, so I thought they just cracked the code on sweetness. But if things seem too good to be true, they probably are.
I mean, she's basically like,
So for me, I'm one of the
like, I wouldn't be able to be got by something like that.
My gains, but for others, this is
I'd be too suspicious.
The Redditor included in their post that they even saw a comment on Bobby's Instagram from someone saying their blood sugar shot up despite the label claiming low sugar and carbs. To make matters worse, in the comments, people were buying this protein for their diabetic family members that have been having issues with their glucose while taking this. And this commenter had real-time data that this protein powder was causing sugar spikes. The original post with the lab results were posted on Reddit on March 3rd, 2025. On March 27, they posted an update saying that Holmes Nutrition has removed all of their protein powders from their online store. So when we go to the Holmes Nutrition website, it has the following messages.
The comments are doing weird things.
Being the oldest. Unfortunately, we have encountered an unexpected issue with the manufacturing facility for the protein. Due to the large increase in demand, the current facility was having issues.
I'll be right back.
We are searching for a new manufacturer. We hope to find a company that can grow with us. We are also working with a different manufacturer on growing our line of supplements and hope to add as soon as we can. Working on vetting new manufacturers.
Okay.
Increase in demand, the current facility was having issues. We are
So this is the company's excuse.
March 3rd, 2025. On March 27, they posted an update saying that Holmes Nutrition has removed all of their protein powders from their online store. So when we go to the Holmes Nutrition website, it has the following messages, starting with the bottom being the oldest. Unfortunately, we have encountered an unexpected issue with the manufacturing facility for the protein. Due to the large increase in demand, the current facility was having issues. We are quickly searching for a new manufacturer. We hope to find a company that can grow with us. We are also working with a different manufacturer on growing our line of supplements and hope to add to the pre/post as soon as we can. Please check the site for updates, and if you have any
I can't believe it. They got away with it for this long.
flavors, please send us an email. The next update says, we are still diligently working on vetting new manufacturers and will share an update as soon as we can. Once protein is available for purchase, we will notify everyone via email. We absolutely love your flavor suggestions. Please keep them coming. With the final update saying, we are sorry there is such a delay. This will be our 4th manufacturer and by far the hardest to find. Unfortunately, we don't have a date yet, but we are working hard on this every day. The protein market is flooded, so manufacturers only want to work with large players. As soon as we have any solid information, we will update the site. We will definitely email everyone when we know.
Listen, get the beef tallow. There's this place, there's this this rancher guy on TikTok, okay? You can get a 7-pound thing, a tub of beef tallow for like $56 or something like that. It's in my TikTok shop. I've just never posted a video about it, but it's in my like showcase. So if you go in there, if you go and search there or whatever, go on TikTok shop. That's the best place to buy beef tallow, hands down.
March or April of this year,
unless you know a local who is making it.
Website and that Holmes was citing manufacturer issues. So since the Reddit post was already up by the time I independently noticed their website, I don't have definitive data to show if the products were pulled down before the post went up or after in response to this post exposing them. But given the timeline within the post, it seems that these messages on the site were after or in response to this Reddit post. When you Google Holmes nutrition, this Reddit post is not at the very top, so I didn't even see this post until 2 days ago from the time of recording this video. But prior to seeing this Reddit post, since March, I had been diligently waiting and checking the website every few weeks, waiting to see if the protein was back on sale. And I was always running into these messages on the website. And honestly, the reasoning always sounded to me kind of like obfuscation and like a pretext to some real truth, even before I found this Reddit post. You would think that if the protein had such a large increase in demand, they'd at least stay with their current manufacturer until they could find a larger facility to get their product out and at least have partial production. They've been down since at least March, which means that that's at least 9 months of no sales. They've also completely removed all protein powders from their site, which is unusual for a company just facing
Crystal is giving my phone number out to people right now. She just gave my phone number out to a group of people. I just got a couple of text messages, like at the exact same time, from random numbers that I don't know. And it's always her. Although I will say that Jennifer Sisson is more notorious for giving out my number under the pages that she fakes. So probably it's her, because she did something. Thanks. Like, seriously? If you girls don't want me to talk about you, which is what you tell people, you say, oh, I wish she would stop talking about me. I would literally never mention your name again if I had no reason to. I don't just talk about some random guy named Jake Smith all the time, right? Because Jake Smith has done nothing to me, has not made his presence known to me, and I don't give a shit about Jake Smith doing whatever Jake Smith is doing. So I'm not going to talk about what Jake Smith is doing. But if Crystal Schleinling wants to keep fucking stalking and harassing me and fucking with me on a daily basis, I'm going to keep talking about it. It's funny because she has her little friendy poos commenting stuff like, oh, you're obsessed with her, or we wish you would just never talk about her again. What? Bitch. If I never had to say that dumb fucking name again, would be too soon. Oh, she's taking my number and she's using that thing to call rant to I'm getting text messages asking who I am. Like, this is the wrong number or something like that. Someone, she's posted somewhere feet pics. See? Okay, Crystal. All right, Jennifer. Okay. Jennifer, I'm like 80% sure that it's not Crystal, that it's actually Jennifer. And man, I really wish that she didn't do this. I wish she wouldn't put me into a corner and back me into a situation where I have no choice but to take action. I've been really trying to like not do something to retaliate, because I just like, I'm not that kind of person, but I guess I am going to have no choice. Thank you, Crystal and Jennifer, for continuing to give me loads and loads of proof that you're stalking and harassing me. I appreciate it. Keep it coming.
Of the ingredient followed by a parenthetical listing of all ingredients that ingredient is made of. So this has more ingredients that make up that non-dairy creamer, like vegetable oil or possibly even dipotassium phosphate, which are common ingredients in non-dairy creamer that are just not listed in the ingredients list. Additionally, it says cane sugar as an ingredient, so we know there are added sugars, but it just lists sugars, 3 grams. The Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Section 101.9, specifies that added sugars must be declared separately from total sugars and include the percent daily value. So, not only is the protein and carb content completely misstated, but there are just so many problems with pretty much every aspect of the packaging. In the post, the Redditor suspects amino spiking as the cause for this discrepancy in protein content, stating, lab results strongly suggest amino spiking may be happening here. So, as a quick mini biology lesson, when we build muscle, it needs protein because protein provides the essential amino acids or the building blocks to fill in those tears we get from exercise and to build new muscle tissue. And so for amino acids, we have essential and non-essential amino acids. The non-essential amino acids are the ones that our body can produce, so we don't need to get that through supplements. The essential amino acids are the ones that will help us build that muscle and is what we need to obtain from outside food sources. So amino spiking is using cheap, junky, non-essential amino acids to artificially increase the overall protein content of a powder. So they'll use these junk amino acids that our body can already produce, like taurine, glycine, L-arginine, and L-glutamine. And these amino acids will not help you build muscle. So we don't need to get them as a supplement because it's not going to do anything for muscle synthesis. So when you take a protein supplement, you want to be taking essential amino acids. And so
Yes, it is a federal offense, but that doesn't stop them from doing it.
But the Redditor says that the lab results show that this is indicative of amino spiking. But let's look at the common telltale signs of spiking. So first sign, is the protein powder cheap? In this case, no, it is not cheap. Secondly, does it include taurine? Taurine will not help you build muscle, but it is a common, cheap, non-essential amino acid that is included whenever amino spiking is a thing. According to the amino acid profile on the bag, this protein powder does not include taurine. Does it include glycine? Yes, but a small percentage according to the profile. Does it include high amounts of L-arginine? Not with respect to the other amino acids in this profile. Does it include high amounts of L-glutamine? No, it's not present. So just going through the standard checks for amino spiking, we're not seeing clear evidence of
Oh, Crystal.
Now, given the rest of the inconsistencies on the bag, I'm not sure how much stock we can...
She posted my phone number in a website. The title of the screen name that she's using is type sub-lesbian 4RP. And she says, I'm a sub-lesbian. Any women want to RP on here? PM. And then it says Heather's feet, right? Text for feet pics. My phone number. I take requests. Show me your cock too, is what the website says. She's giving out my phone number on porn websites. Bitch, that stuff is traceable, you guys. Oh boy. This says Jennifer. This is Jennifer. This isn't Crystal. This is Jennifer's stuff, kind of behavior. It could be Crystal, and I could be wrong. But Jennifer is a little bit dumber when it comes to this kind of stuff. And Jennifer, even though she's blocked, like on multiple accounts, she's created another account with her actual name. And she was commenting like yesterday on my, here on YouTube on one of my videos, one of my most recent live streams. And she's like, is Crystal all you ever talk about? And again, if you would leave me alone, I'd not talk about her. So anyway, Jennifer has made her appearance again. And I told her in that thing, I was like, for somebody wanting to foster children, you would think that you would be like, I don't know, not being a weirdo on the internet and stalking and harassing a girl that you, I don't know, Jennifer. Her husband was stalking me. And we met because we were in a group of women who had been like abused or stalked by this man. And she then started stalking me. And now she's like buddies with Crystal. Crystal does not like her. Crystal is not her friend. Crystal uses people. She doesn't like these people. She likes whatever they can do or however they can make my life miserable. She'll like that, but she is not friends with these people. If you are not paying Crystal money or doing something for her, you've got no purpose in her life. But Jennifer is so desperate for friendship and such a like actual pathetic human being that she thinks Crystal is her friend. And so, you know, it's just really sad. It's really sad and pathetic. Do. So the people who are like messaging me are simps. She's literally just sent a bunch of people who want to pay me money to look at my feet, but who will also do things for someone. So thank you. I already have the screenshots. It's like they always try to use giving my information out, like my phone number or like my email, like as a way to harm me. Girls, we've gone over this. Notifications are just notifications. I ignore them. I don't get that. I don't have that thing inside of me that makes me feel pressure to respond immediately. People are obsessed with their phones and they get a message and they need to respond right away. That's not me. I've got people that are still waiting on a response from me from years ago. And I just forgot they completely exist and that I was meant to respond to them because they've gone so far down now in the messages. If someone is important enough to have an effect on my situation, then, you know, they'll be here. The farther out and away you are, the less what you do affects me. So, giving my number out to strangers is not gonna, I don't care. But I'm grateful that you did it. I am thankful that you did it because that's more of a digital footprint. So thank you. It's so funny, the timing that Crystal is going off the deep end and doing all this extra crazy shit more than usual. Because it's just like, I just really needed her to
With brazen home break-ins on the rise, months for the FBI to return her silver, but they never gave back the cash.
Literally, they just rooted through, took everything, and tried to keep it.
A court ruled the FBI violated customers' constitutional rights by searching their boxes. The agency did not respond to our request for comment. Then there's the case of Florida school teacher Jenny Morsh's valuables, missing from a Chase Bank deposit box in Orlando.
In that instant, all my items had disappeared.
Jenny went to open her box, but says her key wouldn't fit. And to her horror, when the bank drilled it open, she says all her cash and priceless possessions were gone. Imagine more than $100,000 in cash, jewelry, and gold coins, poof, gone. Just an empty box. But she says the bank denied losing anything.
I knew in my heart I was right, and no matter what I said, they didn't believe me. They were adamant about their records, and I was adamant that they were wrong.
Jenny Morsh sued Chase Bank, but the judge dismissed the case.
When you're working against a huge corporation like that, and I don't have access to the documents that might lead to them realizing that what I'm saying is true, it was once again devastating.
But then, 3 years later, something remarkable happened.
Millions of dollars in unclaimed funds and property could be waiting for you to collect right now.
Jenny saw one of her long-lost items, a $10,000 diamond necklace, on TV of all places.
I saw my diamond necklace go across the TV screen, and I literally was shaking. I'm like, that's my necklace. They have my necklace.
The image was featured during a segment about an auction being held by the state of Florida's Unclaimed Property Division. The next day, Jenny rushed over with photos proving it was hers.
I don't think it took more than 10 minutes or so, and they said, we have your items, and we believe we have all of your items. And I just broke down and cried.
Jenny was reunited with most of her belongings, but how did they end up there? Documents suggest Chase shipped the items to the state back in 2012, mistaking her box as abandoned. But her attorney, Andres Boregovich, says Chase withheld that information during the lawsuit.
It does not take a legal scholar to realize that Chase concealed the truth in order to gain their benefit to win. They duped Jenny Morsh. They duped her legal team. They duped the courts.
They're now appealing the case.
It's totally unnecessary what they've put me through. And it's still little me against Goliath.
Chase denies any wrongdoing.
This is a huge consumer protection issue. Do the bank customers understand how safe or unsafe the system really is?
When you can't trust the bank behind a locked vault in a safety deposit box, it makes you feel very vulnerable. And needless to say, I don't bank there anymore.
Well, you have to understand, if that bank is doing it, then all banks are doing it because it's widespread. Better? Oh, my hips. Dude, this fucking cyst thing is really fucking hurting me so bad.
What's up, guys? So my obsession with American Girl dolls is full send back. I had an American Girl channel, actually, when I was probably 9 to 13, I would say. And my entire channel was American Girl. Everything. I've opened up pretty much every single one of these dolls on the channel, and all of these clothes, and like, I knew everything there was to know about American Girl. So fast forward, I can't believe I forgot that I have an American Girl doll obsession, or I had one. I had an American Girl doll obsession. Got out all the dolls, which I'm gonna show you them today. And also my fiance went up in the garage attic.
Now, she is not in the United States, which is a good thing here. But
Yeah, it keeps muting because my phone keeps ringing.
Wheelchairs. They'll do this to
I'm not saying number. Remember, Crystal gave out my phone number, or Crystal or Jennifer gave out my phone number. So, I've got a bunch of perverts calling my phone right now.
My luxury Facebook machine, and I spilled coffee on it.
My parents buy me a new one. Only a couple,
There's not a lot of sympathy there. But when you're talking about people with multiple sclerosis, people with disabilities, people who are not able to get around, there is a certain level of societal sympathy and empathy for people that have these types of problems. And if we are willing to apply,
I had to activate a setting that I had not activated
then
on accident.
The bar is in Hades at this point. Is what I'm trying to say. And this is just going to continue onwards throughout everything. Like, there's no industry that is safe from this garbage. Medical device manufacturers are using software to try and extract rent from disabled people. Ownership means nothing if software is going to control everything. I've avoided discussing medical equipment a lot on the channel when it comes to any of this type of breaking digital locks thing, because it kind of starts to make people queasy. People are okay with the idea of breaking a digital lock so that your cell phone or your television works again, but not with medical equipment. But I want to start being a little bit more forceful and pushing back against that, because it's with medical equipment that it's actually the most important, because medical equipment is some of the stuff that is the most important. When the stakes are the highest is when it matters that the company that made the product is able to fuck you any way that they want. I went over all of the lies and bullshit in this video, and I cited all of my sources very clearly. When they say that it is dangerous to break a digital lock in order to service or repair medical equipment, they are completely and utterly full of shit. They do not have the facts in their favor, and they never did. They do this to fearmonger you. This law in the United States needs a lot of reform. I go over these things in this channel because I don't see it in terms of I'm not in a wheelchair, so fuck them. I see it in terms of I could be in a wheelchair someday. When I am, I would really like to be in a better situation. I started talking about wheelchair right to repair back in 2021. It wound that bill that I was talking about that failed here wound up passing a year and a half later when we put some lobbying money into it. And I've showed you Thomas Quater's nonprofit where he tries to build open source wheelchairs where you don't have to worry about any issue to begin with. These things matter to me even if I'm not the one that's on the other end of it, because you never know when I could be on the other end of it. I had a horrible, what I thought would be a permanent spinal injury in March earlier this year. And what I learned after getting some unconventional European healthcare earlier during my Christmas vacation is that it wasn't a permanent injury after all. My spine actually performs pretty damn well. In all seriousness, simply because something is not going to immediately affect me does not mean I'm just going to say fuck this group of people. Rather, I'd like to see how we can make things better for that group of people, because if they're willing to pick on this group of people, then let's be real, they're going to pick on everybody. I could be in this situation at any point in my life, and when I am, I hope to live in the world that we're working to create rather than the world that we live in now. Currently, I'm the president of Hulu Foundation, which is a nonprofit dedicated
It's all
to
part and
reform
parcel.
Section 1201 of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and pointing
If you
out
want
this stuff
people to
as
get
offense-based.
caught
And I
for
know that
doing
you and everybody else
illegal
is away on holiday
things,
right now,
they
but
kind of
I
have to
really
do
wanna
the
start
illegal
considering coming up
things
with something like the
so you can
Flu Medal of
document it, you
Freedom,
know?
or like Flu Freedom Medal of something to award to people like this, even if they're not in the United States, for doing something that I find beautiful. Showing people how to break digital locks, showing people that breaking digital locks is not dangerous and that it is beneficial for our most vulnerable populations, as well as everybody else. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like that wheelchairs have a paywall to unlock something like 1 or 2 more kilometers an hour so you can catch the bus? Can you hold the bus? I did a software update to my wheelchair and now I have to pay to make it go faster. That's the world that we live in. That ain't the world I want to live in. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.
We also have the duty not to infringe the IP rights in the process. It is in fact the manufacturers who have the relevant rights, not consumers.
Yeah, I just didn't have it turned on. That's why I went, the last time that I disappeared for a minute or two, because I went to go activate my settings so that the calls won't ring to me anymore. They'll just go straight to voicemail. And I'm pretty sure that my voicemail is full, so good luck. If I want to receive a voicemail from someone that I don't want to answer a phone call from, I have to go quickly before they get to the voicemail part of their ringing. Like, I have to quickly get to my phone, open up voicemail, delete a couple of voicemails, and then give them the opportunity to leave a voicemail. Otherwise, people can't leave voicemails because my inbox is full. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say that I don't give a fuck about notifications. They mean nothing. I check social media because I want to, not because there's notifications and I think there might be something there. I check it and I do my little thing and then I go about my life. I don't like feeling the pressure to reply.
I love medieval inspired.
Long time no
Well,
see.
obviously, look what I did to my
Oh, I have a stress fracture.
And I love to make some fun decor, but also some costumes. Nightcore, royal core, all the core. I've made a lot of fancy or ridiculous things over the years, obviously. Oh, what is this? I didn't make this. And it's true that, hold on, who doesn't want to live in an epic fantasy novel? I know I do. This would look so much better on this. This is more fun. But although I love all the costumes that I make, the little problem is that it's not really comfy. Like, I want to be cozy and warm. Well, actually, I did make a few things that are cozy and warm, but they're not very practical, like for everyday wear, you know? Even though it makes me feel pretty awesome. Just missing a dragon. Tu veux faire le dragon? Bonjour, I am Ariel, your friendly French crafter, and welcome to my closet. When I have a day where I work from home,
Josh broke his foot and he refuses to go to the doctor because of the copay is too expensive.
Most of the times I look in the mirror and
And I'm worried that
it really looks
gonna
like I'm
need
still in my
surgery.
pajamas, you know, especially when it gets
Foot
cold.
bones
I'm
need
over the years,
surgery.
You know, I am very cold sensitive. Not like you. Oui. Oui. I have like there's like zero heat regulation in there. None. So I may have an idea. Listen, medieval.
Yeah, and he's still driving and doing all the
Made
things.
sweat. No, that's kind of gross. Medieval hoodie. Medoody? Okay, I'll find a name later. Let's go to the workshop. Hello? So gloomy in here. It has been raining for 10 days now. I don't even remember how the sun looks like. I wanted to hang those at the light source at some point, but I never got to it. That's a nice mood. But we still don't see anything, so... I went shopping for some very boring fabric. It's not often that I buy new fabric, but here I need some very specific thing and like very basic thing. It's kind of the essence of what I want for this project, which is comfy and stretchy and also dark, like my soul and my coffee. So we have 4 meters of this cotton knit. One is this heavy cotton and a thinner.
Yeah, that's about the same time Josh broke his
One
foot.
in this beige, which is like a neutral contrasting fabric.
Like
and the thinner one, I also got some in
the day after
which is
Christmas,
everything
maybe, or the day
ocean.
before
And I
Christmas.
also got this thing from a bin
I can't
for
remember.
€2. Definitely not the best quality, but it reminds me of chainmail, so maybe I can do something.
A week ago,
And it's shiny.
Friday.
I have a few sweaters, 4 I think, and I don't even like any of those. It's either I got those because they were very much on sale and they were the least worse, or I got them at the thrift stores and they were also the least worse. I like the idea of a comfy sweater, but they usually look very bad.
Yeah, Josh's is not like
But I just want to be cozy.
that, like it's not that bad, you know, so he's able to get away with it. But he should go to the doctor. But he's like, oh, if I go to the doctor, they're just gonna tell me, yep, it's broken. Don't put any weight on it. I was like, no, they might want to fix it surgically so that you don't damage your nerves or blood vessels or pinch any tissue. Like, it could be real bad if the bone damages any of the surrounding, you know, vascular stuff or nerve stuff.
Wide one that would be like a sort of medieval cape with maybe, I don't know, some decorative edge. Should I go for the square one or maybe something more like fancy? Comfy sweatpants.
Definitely wish he would just do it, but he won't.
Some comfy sweatpants where I try to make the waist a sort of cartridge pleats, but with an elastic. So
I wasn't gonna go get any medical care about my wrist, but
this because it's cropped. Maybe I can close the waist with some
I
pleats or something, or have like a pleat
did
on the side.
something. I was making my bed and I did this like flick maneuver to get the sheets to spread out, and when I did, I hurt this. I did something extra, and so it started creaking, like that kind of creaking where you can feel it and hear it at the same time. And I was like, I should probably get this looked at. And so, yeah.
I have destroyed the 3 hoodies. So now I have some separating zippers and ribbing and just cords. So
There's a little bit of torn,
sleeves on paper. This is the front, the back,
like
and
ligament
the sleeve.
tissue or whatever it
And I'm going
is,
to use this as a
and
base to build
the bone
this. I need to make this body longer, add more volume.
has a little bit of tearing at that same spot.
I need to extend the neck and do this wide bottle shape. There is no seam at the front, so I'm going to add an extra here, which will allow me to add a pocket here and a zipper here. Also some wrists later on, and I need to decide what the end is going to be. Here is the pattern. The old front became these 2 pieces. This is the old back. It's now this. And the old sleeve is now shorter. And you can see on these pieces like the little trumpet that will become the collar, probably. I'm gonna cut 2 of each of these in the black fluffy fabric here. All the main pieces are cut. I'm already so excited about this shape. But before I sew it, I go
Drowsy.
to reinforce at least the bottom, so the shapes are keeping a little bit of their integrity. I'm gonna do that on all the bottom pieces, also on the side seams, because if I want to add a pocket, I want this seam to be a bit reinforced. And also on one of the sides, if I want to.
Did he get the pins and reconstruction in there? In Indonesia? He had the surgery there? What were you doing for work in Indonesia? How much was the medical care in Indonesia comparatively?
Okay, so last night I spent the whole night just adding the interfacing. That took way longer than it should have, and I don't even know if I can fully trust it.
How old is your
I don't
son?
fully trust fusible interfacing, but we'll see how it goes. Because today we assemble. I guess that's the side for assembling now. Instead of adding a pocket here, I think I'm gonna add them on the side seams.
I'm getting close to wanting to experiment with sewing again.
2 pockets on each side instead of just one here and none here because it interferes with the closure. I'm not exactly sure. We always need a little pocket.
Dans mes poches. J'adore les poches. Poche, poche, poche. On peut mettre plein de trucs dans ces poches. Mais en fait, je mets toutes mes affaires.
I have the back here, the front here, so I'm gonna close the side seam and finishing this pocket. I've assembled the main pieces. I'm gonna add the sleeves to at least see how it looks, and I'll figure out the inside afterwards. This is coming along nicely. I still have some steps before deciding about the lining, so I'm gonna finish the hem and the opening here at the front. I don't know yet if I'm gonna do buttons or something else. And then also wrists. I'm finishing the bottom edge of the cape, which is kind of the most interesting thing design-wise.
He just
Honestly,
answers
the
yes.
process here, but it took such a long time. That is because I have to be super careful to have a regular stitching to make sure I don't mess up the little stairs, and that means going very slow because I'm stitching a non-stretch fabric on a stretch fabric. Clipping the corners, of course, and pointing them out from the inside, and I can work on the cuff. For these, I wanted them to be extra cozy, so I'm adding little slits to add my thumb into it. And the construction of that is not too complicated. It's basically rectangles. I'm using the same fabric, which is stretchy, but not like as stretchy as ribbing, for example. So I tried a few times to make sure I can have my hands go through it, and also that I can roll up my sleeves. I am constantly tinkering, painting, doing random crap with my hands, so at least I won't mess up too much my new creation. That's also why I never... So the seam under the sleeve needs to be on this side. The collar part also gets a facing. I just traced the top of each pattern and cut a piece in that same shape. That way the collar is double layers, so it
Senses in your body. Is the screen flashing?
I cut that in a lightweight.
When I'm looking away, I see the screen doing something or something. Oh, I bet it's a fly flying in front of the camera. There's a little fly in here that's been flying around all morning. But anyway, no, the screen is flashing. Why is the screen flashing?
Also, my hair is still wet. I just redid my color, and I'm not like great at it. So please ignore the fact that my face is
Yo, we had a fucking crazy storm last night out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere. Dude, I'm convinced they're trying to North Carolina, the Pacific Northwest.
So, lining. I don't know if you can see it, but it's... I don't know if you can see because... Okay. I don't think you can see much because it's like black on black on black, but the whole time, since this part is interlined, I separated the lining and there is like hand stitching, which is kind of invisible from the outside. And also you can see some bagginess on the inside. It's to make sure that the lining is not pulling the fabric on the outside. So yeah, the cape just needs a little bit of ironing.
How old is he now?
We'll think about the fastening later. Probably gonna go with buttons or snaps.
Can you feel the temperature difference? Like if your metal gets cold in your
This can wait.
Body?
And by the way, I received something that I'm very excited about. Camera!
Like, can you like sense the cold metal?
I'm so excited about it. This one here is nice, but I've had it for 3 years and it's now starting to corrupt some footage here and there. And I realized that it may not be the smartest move to have only one camera if your whole career is just filming yourself. Tu peux arrêter? Tu arrêtes et tu fais dans le panier.
Her cat is doing the same thing that my cat does to me.
Anyways, so now I have a new camera with actual lenses that you can remove. Yes, I've been on YouTube for years and I've never done that because actually I suck pretty much at filming. Have I been filming in automatic mode 19% of the time until now? No. Actually, I received it last week, but I realized that none of
Wait, so you can film video in automatic mode and then I don't have to worry about it?
But now it should work. Let's see what it does.
Oh, I don't have a computer anymore. That's right. Damn, I need to try the computer.
4K now? Is it incredible? I hope it is because I can't bring it back now. And I would like to give a huge thank you to my Patreon for this.
Guys, I got a Patreon. And there is a free area. So you do not have to pay for it if you don't want to. You won't be able to access everything, but you will be able to be there. You do not have to you don't have to pay for it. So it's Patreon Subliminal Locks.
I'm joking, but also not that much. And actually, my life has been so much better without it. Hopefully, I don't fall back into it. Short form content has been really bad for me as a viewer, but also as a creator, obviously.
What?
I don't know. The internet is complicated. But thankfully, I have these people to thank and keep me afloat when the internet platforms are just doing whatever. Thank you so much for all my supporters who allow me to upgrade the image for everybody. And also, if you are not on Patreon, it's fine. You can also give a like and comment and share the video. That really always helps. So,
But yeah, so I have a Patreon now. So if you guys do just want to like, you know, pay for a membership and like, you know, help me out and make, you know, all those things, that too. That is an option. But it isn't necessary. I wanted to make sure that some of my core people were still going to be able to be included.
I don't know how much work this is going to be, but I'm really excited about this piece. What do you think? Now the idea for those pieces is that I'm going to pleat the material before I cut them. Hopefully it should be easier to pleat this entire fabric with my iron and then see how much of the sleeves I can fit. The sleeves are cut. As you can see, I use some tape to maintain it. It's actually way better than using the pins. So now we can assemble them together with a strip of fabric here. I have no idea how it's gonna look with this ugly tape, but it's kind of a surprise, you know?
Where is this starting to hurt?
Et voila, clean on the outside and on the inside. Now I can close it up and add a little ribbing cuff. Let's go for the hood. 1 layer, 2 layers. I'll finish this front edge so we can add a little cord or something.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
It works. I kind of feel like Rocky. that hem is finished, and now for the pants, I'm going to add the front and back of another pattern. I'm going to add them together so I can have one big piece for each leg, and I'm going to add some lacing on the side. And I have no idea how it's going to look. So those are my two pieces, and I draw a line with the pins, so I'm going to add some eyelets here and here. So the eyelets have been added, 3 on the bottom, 4 on the top. And I'm gonna close the leg and attach the two together, and I think we might be done. Styling time! Starting off with the crotch hoodie. I think this one is the easiest to match with different pieces in your wardrobe. It looks kind of modern, but if you squint, you still see like the medieval detail, which is not obvious at first, but still it's making it very interesting, I think. I really like this one. I think I'm gonna match it with basically everything. The cape is definitely the most fun. Depending on how it's worn, it can cover a different bit. The buttons are nice underneath. Also with my hair horns, I feel like a medieval jester. A very cool one, may I say, and I love it. This is definitely a look. What, you don't have a fish purse? Wearing the hoodie and sweatpants is so comfortable. Yes, it's obvious that these are sweatpants, but I think they have a sort of edge. They don't feel too much at leisure pajamas. Is it what I'm wearing when I'm spending those 2 days just editing this video? Yes, it is, and it is very comfortable. They might be weird, but in an intentional way. Kind of cool. Less of a statement, but still I can go out like this, and I will be extremely comfortable. I'm really happy with all those pieces. I think I'm gonna wear them in a ton of different ways, and it's giving me a lot of options for styling. With them being black and monochrome, I can add a ton of accessories and stuff. I'm really glad that I finished this project before the winter. But how would you wear those? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bisous, bisous.
Well, I'm finally doing it. The long-awaited doll collection video that you guys keep asking for. And I don't know if anyone's actually going to enjoy this, but I've finally caved. Eagle-eyed viewers who are super familiar with the background of my video may have noticed that things are a little bit different right now. I'm in the process of reorganizing my displays, which I feel like in some ways makes this a good time to film this video, because all the stuff I'm not happy with, I can be like, it's temporary, I'm still working on it, and everything's kind of disorganized anyway, so I don't feel bad about tearing apart the displays to show them to you. But that's gonna be my first disclaimer. Not everything looks like how it used to look, or how it's going to look in the future. My other disclaimer is that I have a lot of dolls. Less dolls than some people, but more dolls than most people. I think some people might see my collection as aspirational, which is very flattering, but I have collected these over years, and I want to encourage new collectors, or even seasoned collectors, to go slow, be responsible. A lot of these dolls have been gifts, which I very much appreciate, and as for dolls that I've purchased, I don't like to spend more than like $30 to $40 on anything that I'm adding to my collection. That goes for my pop-up book collection as well. I get a lot of my dolls secondhand. I like to be patient, scope out deals, and spend a lot of my time actually just researching dolls and building out wish lists. I just want to be clear that collecting is a marathon, not a sprint. and I don't want you to see my collection and go out and buy a bunch of dolls today. You know, be financially
You
responsible.
outside.
Which, speaking of being responsible with your money, I'd like to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, make a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. So Rocket Money is really great for budgeting. Like, for example, if your primary hobby is spending money on weird little items, you put in all of your accounts, and then Rocket Money is able to track all of them and show you patterns. You can see the money coming in and out and compare those numbers month to month. My Rocket Money was like, you've spent more money this month than normal. And I was like, that's odd. Why is that? Oh, because I bought a ticket for the Twilight Festival. If you watched my last video, you know all about that. It can also show you your spending broken down into categories. So for me, it's like shopping. You spend a lot of money on eBay. Like, yes, I know. It can also recognize recurring charges like bills and subscriptions. And then it'll tell you like, hey, in a few days you're gonna spend $12 on this streaming service. Which, if you realize, I don't want to spend that on that, you can cancel subscriptions with just a few taps in the app. Rocket Money can also help you lower your bills. For some of your bills, they can negotiate lower rates for you. If you're interested in trying Rocket Money today and unlocking more features with premium, scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get started for free. So, I have a lot of dolls, and there are multiple places in this room where dolls live. The shelves, the bookshelf, the giant bin under my bed, 3 of these pink bins, and randomly on this other bookshelf. So the way I'm gonna show these to you is by like category of doll, not by where they are in the room. I think that'll be maybe easier to keep track of. Let's actually first talk about these, which are full of doll accoutrement. So this bin has like doll stands and hair stuff. There's a lot of like rainbow high stands. And then this has some like paper ephemera, so like certificates of authenticity, and like this bag, a mini hair straightener. So that's bin number 1. Bin number 2 has many bags of clothes. And also shoes and some accessories. A lot of accessories I don't feel the need to keep because they're like a little plastic bag of chips. No. And then the last bin is like vaguely dolls that I have intentions of customizing. It's also yarn, apparently. Oh, I think because you can use yarn to make yarn wefts to make hair for the dolls. So I have yarn and then this pet brush to brush out the yarn. But there's a lot of dolls in here. Some of them don't have faces. Some of them I bought specifically for customizing, like these budget Dracularas. There's a lot of like budget Barbie dolls. This doll is an Ever After High doll.
That's fucking cold as fuck.
But I didn't have enough hair. I think because I was like rerooting too aggressively, like too much hair in each clothes. So she has this giant bald spot. That's cool. And this is a doll who I was in the progress of doing her face at some point. She's been in here for a long time. Now, in terms of actual dolls, we have the Pixlings. I have 4 Pixlings. I don't know which ones they are. There's this one who's like a mermaid, this one who's like a unicorn, and this one who's, I think, supposed to be a dragon. I think they're adorable. I love their little faces, but they do unfortunately have this like unboxing gimmick. So to get a Pixling means that you have this like giant canister. You have to do magic ink water potions to reveal her. So I've sort of paused on Pixlings. Next up, let's talk about Rainbow High, who usually sits there. This is, I think, Cheryl.
I have ovarian cyst right now. They did prescribe me steroid or whatever, a steroidal, a non-steroid, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. It's like basically naproxen.
And like this little fake part, but her curls are very limp. I don't know. Then we have a doll who I completely redid. She usually wears this dress that's like a jellyfish vibe, and I don't love it. So I decided to redress her.
There's no way you could eat something this delicious and be miserable, so that's why I'm trying to do this.
Battle of the Bands line, and then I know it's sacrilegious, but I did
Yeah.
her hair and sort of style it to look like
I saw part of it.
back in some way. So she's very punk right now.
I don't like it. too graphic and vulgar, and it's like basically if Seth Rogen made a cartoon about being a hot dog, you know?
And I just fell in love with her when I saw her. Next up is another doll I redressed because she's supposed to be in like a burgundy hoodie and these gray sweatpants with zippers.
I just want to get this into my stomach as quickly as possible.
But I think I saw someone on Reddit redress her in this. I want to say this is from the pink doll from like series 2, her outfit, and I think she looks so good in that, so I bought this outfit just on its own off of eBay. Her hair is kind of simple right now. I have seen in the Rainbow High Reddit people.
Your parents are rich.
I think it looks so good. I am not currently confident enough to do that, so for right now, this is what we're working with. Next up, again from that same eBay seller, so she did all the like twists and stuff in this doll's hair. Next up, she is in like I think completely just factory, like out of the box. I don't think I haven't even washed this hair yet. Oops. I might want to give her braids or something at some point, but I do think this little updo is pretty, so I don't know. I don't know if this qualifies for updo. Next up, I gave her this hairstyle. It's kind of simple, but I think she looks really good. And the last doll from that eBay seller.
It was a Christmas cupcake.
Then this is Sunny from the 2-pack with her sister. I got the 2-pack just for her. And then I gave her this hairstyle of like pigtails that are also braids. I might change this. I don't know what to. I need to like look up black decor hairstyle references. But I was being lazy, and so I did the braids coming off of the pigtails and not coming from the scalp, which I think was a miscalculation. I also repainted her lips because the doll itself comes with like a very baby pink lip that I think looks kind of off. So I gave her this sort of darker pink lip, which I think looks really good. Another doll who I haven't changed at all. I think she looks really pretty. I opened her up at like a family.
I'm
Christmas
struggling
party.
to do this without hurting my wrist.
Who's that? Because normal people don't know what's going on in the doll world. And Rainbow High is very impressed with her. And this doll, I'm kind of on the fence. I've seen people dye her hair brown, and I think she
Okay,
looks
chocolate.
so good like that. Like dyeing doll hair seems
It's like something chemically instantly happens.
how you do it to where you don't accidentally dye the skin. The hair I've given her right now.
It makes the pain go away a little bit.
And arguably not very good. Then there's our alien girl.
Instant, the chocolate touched my tongue.
Hairstyles people have done on her that look
I felt
really
mild,
good.
some pain
This is
relief.
just like a temporary one for right now. I'm on the fence about pulling out her tinsel, and then we'll see if I can manage something elaborate on her. Then, as for the Rainbow High dolls who are not currently on display, we have her. I was planning on giving her like an emo scene haircut, is why she's like this, but I have not yet been confident enough to do it. And this is Vanessa Tempo. I know that for a fact. She was my first ever Rainbow High doll, and she's so gorgeous. But she was on display for so long, I wanted to like rotate her out, but she might have to be rotated back in soon. Her face is just so gorgeous. Then we have a doll who I ended up being kind of disappointed by. She has like the old Rainbow High face, and I also feel like the way they've done her eye makeup, she kind of has raccoon eyes, so I don't love her face as much as I thought I would. I gave her these braids, which I'm very happy with, but she's not one of my favorites. And then last, this is one of the Color and Create, maybe? She came with hair chalk, and I'm supposed to like put chalk on her hair, which for me didn't work. I think I was doing it wrong, but I also cut her hair a little bit when I was getting her out of the package. I want to give her some sort of hairstyle to mask that. She also isn't articulated, so she doesn't have wrist, elbow, or knee articulation, which does limit how you can pose her. And I don't love this outfit. I just wanted to get her for like all face. For the next big category, we have Disney Descendants dolls. So there's two groups of these, the ones that were made by Hasbro for the original movies, and the ones that have been made by Mattel for the new movies. For Hasbro, we have Mal, Evie, Uma, Lonnie, and then from the Wicked World animated series, we have Freddie. She's the daughter of Dr. Facilier. Then I have the 4-4 in their formal wear from movie 2, which I don't really like these outfits. I got them because I was able to get them as a set for like a pretty good price, but I never actually want to have them on display because I don't really like what any of them are wearing. This Mal is also missing a hand. This Evie, I've tried to redo her hair, but still isn't great. So that's all the Hasbro dolls. Now as for Mattel dolls,
Anytime I have to put any weight on my right leg.
In their first 3D outfits, their clientele this time, you can see that they were going for a very different face screening approach. All of the Hasbro dolls were modeled after their Wicked World character models, so the animated series, whereas these are much more trying to look like the actresses. It's debatable whether they achieved that, but that's what they were going for. Then for the Rise of Red and the Avatar Red, I repainted her face just a little bit. I added teeth to her smile and gave her a little more eyeshadow. I made Chloe, again, I did a little bit of a repaint. I made her so that she didn't have teeth in her smile. Liliana, Cinderella, as depicted by Brandy, and then my last two who are actually on display right now. We have Uma and Bridget. It's funny, I feel like I've accumulated a lot of Descendants dolls just because Descendants is like one of my things on the internet, but I don't necessarily need or want to have a ton of them on display.
So this one's gonna be really
Next
sour.
movie comes out, I'll probably put a lot more of them out, and they'll probably release new dolls, and I'll buy some of those. As for like the Mattel Hasbro brand war, I do kind of prefer how Mattel did the faces. Like this Uma is so pretty, but I feel like the Hasbro ones get away with it more because they're so stylized. The Hasbro ones are also different the original movies, which I do care more about compared to Rise of Red. You obviously have the anniversary dolls, and they knew Owen and Uma when she was in Rise of Red. So we do have dolls of the grandparents in this Mattel style, but I'm not super listening to this play right now, so most of these are not this one. Next up, let's do some Monster High. First up, I have the original version of Poor Dracula. I've seen people separate the
It's like
teeth and they're actually cute.
cotton candy. The way it just dissolves.
Then we have this like birthday party Dracula. I don't know which one she's in. And the product images her hair is like big and poofy and 80s and amazing. Out of the box it looks like this. I do want to like try and redo that myself, but I've never really curled doll hair before, so I'm a little bit intimidated. So she's just been rocking her
Yeah,
box
but
right now.
I'm in pain.
I feel like this outfit and this style is so campy. I love it so much. And we have Nefra. I don't think I even
This isn't bothering me really. I mean it is, but
style and everything looks great. I have two different
I have an ovarian cyst right now.
and I was gonna do something with her hair. I did like oil wash it, but I need to
It's progressively getting worse as the day goes by, which means it's growing.
I feel like I'm pretty okay with doll hair, but I can't just cut it down my own hair like the practice. My other Jin Fire is from Ultimate Secrets, and I feel like I like this color palette even more. This is Pore Refresh Cleo Denial. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with her hair, and I also need to
Woo!
decide if I'm going to yank this tinsel out or not. It always feels so bold to like yank out the tinsel, but it is texturally, I feel like, harder to work with. It causes some problems.
Listen.
I feel like. So for example, this Claudine, I yanked
I
the
gotta
tinsel
treat
out of
myself.
her, and I think she looks very good with just this brown hair. Her face
Also,
is
this is all I've got to eat right now in the
the
house.
I've ever made.
Was that
This is
poke
Arden
cake
Noir.
and the cup. I can't eat the cupcake, it's too sweet.
Up to. Doesn't look
But
super good up close. It's a little bit frazzled.
it's too much. It make me
Synthetic it
have a
looks
headache.
like.
But
I've seen some great restyles of her, specifically in this one
this is all I have to eat in the house right now.
poofy dress.
And I had to take that ibuprofen,
Still looks really good. Then
so
we
I
have
needed
Poor Abby.
something in my
She
stomach.
isn't on display right now, so she doesn't have a stand. I will say Monster High dolls don't come with a stand.
Can't take it on an empty
Rainbow
stomach.
High dolls do, or at least they did. Which
I haven't had an ultrasound. I just know I have one because I've had them for so many years.
these dolls, which I'm using these Kaiser stands, they're like metal.
The cyst just started last night. On my way home from work is when it started bothering me. I was driving in the car and I was sitting down, and for like the first like 2 hours, I thought that it was my SI joint.
So the updated faces that we need with
So I was in the car, you know, moving side to side,
this is Poor Refresh
trying to like
I've seen people
stretch my
so instead of more in
SI joint and trying to like, you know, help my pelvis. But I just thought that my body was sore from working. Then I got home, you know, and I got finished with my, whatever, I settled in, and then I laid down in bed, and like, no matter which way I sat or laid down, I still couldn't get comfortable. And then I realized, oh, this is a fucking cyst. It's been a while since I've had one. I used to have them all the time. I was infertile because I had so many cysts. Like I would have a cyst from a menstrual cycle 4 months ago, still there, and then like each menstrual cycle since then there'd be another cyst. So I'd have like 5, 6 cysts on an ovary at a time. It was bad. They told me I would never have children because it was so bad. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is what I have. I've had it for years. This is the first one that I've had in probably 6 or 7 years. But, and I know why it's happening. It's happening because I'm in perimenopause right now. Dude, it's so crazy because I have been saying the lead up to this period was rough, dude. I was having hot flashes, really intense hot flashes. I'd be outside working and it's cold outside, so I'm insulated. But then I'd start sweating and feel like I'm like overheating, and my cheeks would suddenly flush and get super red, and I looked like I was about to have a heat stroke. So I'd have to strip down, and then I'm freezing because I'm all sweaty. All my clothes are wet because I'm sweating in them. The hot flashes fucking suck. I've had insomnia. I've had a few nights, like, it's gotten better. Like, I've been sleeping pretty good the last few nights, but for like about 4 or 5 days there, I could not fucking fall asleep. I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning, just wired, couldn't sleep. And then I'd have to work the next morning, so I'd be like, okay, I have got to like try to go to sleep. Like, this is ridiculous. So I would just lay there in like that totally not falling asleep place. So then when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, not good. So I have been feeling pretty shitty the last couple of weeks leading up to this. So I knew something was going on. I knew that I was about to either get... I was talking to Nikki about this the other day. I thought I was going to get a period. I thought I was going to have a period this month. Is that the sun? That's another thing, and that's why it's so crazy that I got pregnant with Elliot, because like I had been told I was infertile. I didn't think I could get pregnant. We thought we were gonna have to like try hard to get pregnant, but I got pregnant the very first try. Boom. I got pregnant because my body knew that it was time. My spirit, Elliot's spirit, everything was in alignment, and I was willing to listen and take action. I've had the acupuncture before, for the PCOS, but it didn't really do much. The thing that ultimately made them go away, I don't know what it is, because I don't really think there's much different in my life as far as like the food I eat or like the, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't think that there's much different. Man, that sunlight. It's pouring rain. The sun is just exploding through a crack in the clouds.
Things cost too much money these days. Let's talk about that. This is a video that I admittedly did not do a lot of preparing for. I don't have a whole lot of notes or anything. One, because I have been languishing about my home in various states of sick ease. I'm doing a lot better though. This new medication I'm on is so far having a far better reaction than the last one did, so fingers crossed. Secondly, because I kind of just wanted to talk. Like I wouldn't classify this video as a rant. It's a pretty hot topic, yeah, but I guess it's more of a discussion rather than like an essay or more informative format. Because sometimes you just...
There's been an enormous amount of rage, different people with different views getting mad at each other. There's been almost no pressure on federal law enforcement to cough up the freaking facts and to tell a story that makes sense, it's got internal coherence that like, oh, that makes sense, like I get it.
So Ian Carroll went on Tucker Carlson, and it's trending right now on Twitters. And here's what they say: Tucker Carlson interview questions Charlie Kirk assassination narrative. On January 2nd, Tucker Carlson interviewed podcaster Ian Carroll, who questioned the official account of Charlie Kirk's September 10th shooting at Utah Valley University. Authorities say 22-year-old Tyler Robinson acted alone, backed by DNA, ballistics, video, and his confession. He didn't confess. There's no confession. Tied to anti-Kirk and they're talking about his Discord posts and that fake text messages he sent to his trans girlfriend. I'm not supposed to say tranny. That's offensive. Don't mean to offend. The discussion demands more evidence, like unreleased footage, fueling online theories and conspiracies involving TPUSA scandals or foreign actors, though critics label them baseless and anti-Semitic. Of course they do. With Robinson's trial pending as early as 26, the case stirs tensions between brief evidence and calls for transparency. So here's what Tucker Carlson...
1989 saw the birth of Disney's adult playground.
Pleasure Island, never heard of it. Then again, that was part of the allure, right?
Filled with deeply themed restaurants and nightclubs, it offered a unique experience unlike anything else at Disney World.
When Pleasure Island first opened, that was the place to be.
Hello,
because you were there
hello.
because you wanted to be there, not just because you were passing through.
Crowds flocked to downtown Disney, some of which caused a bit more trouble than Disney had hoped.
We had several people that would come in with fake IDs.
And there was a lot of problems with children getting in trouble and doing things they probably shouldn't be doing.
What's worse could happen? As long as nobody dies, you can do all kinds of incredible stuff.
This is the history of Disney's Pleasure Island.
My mom went to Pleasure Island.
In May of 1986, Disney announced a surprising new addition to their Florida property, a nightclub complex called Pleasure Island. This would, of course, be the brainchild of newly appointed Disney CEO Michael Eisner, taking direct inspiration and eventually the business of downtown Orlando's nightclub complex, Church Street Station. Church Street, which had opened its clubs in the 70s, had become the place for adult nighttime entertainment in Orlando. Up until that point, Disney World was its theme parks, a safe place for family-friendly entertainment. Even the idea of Disney selling alcohol was still sort of a foreign concept.
It was a shock. I was actually thrilled that they built an adult park, something for the adults to do.
Yeah, we're a little confused, as you can imagine. Of course, once we got here, our answers were quickly...
It was needed at that time. There weren't that many places
there goes
to go.
the sun.
Most everybody would go downtown to Church Street Station, so having some bars and some lounges and comedy and all that over here on this side was where it was.
Pleasure Island would begin construction in August of 1986, taking over a previously undeveloped area of their Lake Buena Vista shopping village. It would be a part of a massive Disney World expansion in the late 80s. Simultaneously, construction was underway on 4 new Disney resorts, a water park, and their MGM Studios park, with both Pleasure Island and MGM Studios announced to be opening on the same day, May 1st of 1989.
At night, the action shifts to Pleasure Island, a glittering action-filled nightclub area that designer Chris Carradine says follows a theme.
What they'll see is a street party, 7 nightclubs that run the gamut from country western to comedy warehouse, a journey into the illusion of adventure, world travel that's been contained in artifacts and walls of the Adventurers Club. Does that Zephyr Rock and Rollerdrome, which combines roller skating, live and discotheque
This
dancing,
hurting my
bar and grill,
wrist a
cinema,
little
Mannequin's
bit.
Dance Theater, which you'll just have to see when it opens to believe it.
Having attended one of the test parties over the weekend, this may well be the one element that truly makes Disney World a complete resort. Pleasure Island is due to open at the end of May, and those are only the projects that are public. No telling what those Imagineers have under their ears.
So I started out at Pleasure Island as a technician in the entertainment tech field, and so I was there about 10 days before. We were in scramble mode. I was the last technical person hired. They had the opening, and there were all kinds of stars and everything for the studios. Pleasure Island was the after party. At the time, Pleasure Island billed itself as Disney, adult entertainment. That night sure proved it because it was just jam-packed.
Pleasure Island, featuring a variety of night spots, shops, restaurants, and a nightly street festival that has everyone dancing in the streets.
It's just a place to go at night. I mean, everyone's here, dancing, comedy, anything you want to do it's right here.
Pleasure Island featured a multitude of restaurants, shops, and 8 unique nightclubs. Today, we start right here, what many consider the former main entrance of Pleasure Island. Back in the 80s and 90s, this bridge would look very different. Flanked by ticket booths, which were actually repurposed train cars from the old Fort Wilderness Railroad. This is where guests could purchase entry into the clubs they wished to visit, and later on, when procedures changed, entry into the island. Passing beneath the iconic Pleasure Island neon sign and across the bridge, you would find yourself at our first club, Mannequin's Dance Palace.
Hi, my name is James Gonzalez. I worked at Pleasure Island at Mannequins. I was a doorman from 1994 to 1998. Mannequins was the one club to always guarantee to have a line. People would be out there for at least 40 minutes to get in.
Mannequin's Dance Palace was a multi-story dance club which featured mostly techno-trance music, sprinkled in with a few remixes of modern hits of its time. To help with crowd control and a bit more of an exclusive feel, Mannequin's main entrance was an elevator.
The elevator was just a basic elevator. Nothing special about it. Didn't play any music or anything. You could hear the house music in the background. Take you to the second floor, and people would get off, and that's where they would spread out.
Mannequins was the coolest nightclub. Just imagine this huge warehouse on the inside, dark, industrial, with a huge rotating dance floor and confetti drop at the end of every night. It was just amazing.
The rotating dance floor, they have that at the castle
Probably a nice way to put it.
in Tampa.
Definitely some tablespoons of debauchery floating around at times, but that club was intense.
It was the largest capacity club on all of Pleasure Island, and oh boy, did the crowds show up. The building featured a state-of-the-art lighting and sound system that would often be accompanied by short stage shows or moments scheduled throughout the night.
There was multiple dance shows inside Mannequins. The main one was called the Phantom of the Opera. It actually was one of the most popular show on the island.
It was a very theatrical climax to an evening at Mannequins, and a fan favorite.
I want to watch a
for
fucking
locals alike. Second to
documentary about
one of the
mannequins.
most popular spots on the island
Of
was the Rock and Roll Beach Club.
The sun is reflecting off a window into my face.
Disney had envisioned this as a huge multi-purpose venue. Zephyr's Rock and Roller Dome was 3 levels. The first, a traditional dance floor and stage for a live rock band. And the second, a roller skating rink, but also a balcony at the same time. A unique concept which proved to be a bit more dangerous than Disney had hoped. The roller skating feature was removed following multiple injuries, and so was the venue's roller dome theme, although the high-energy rock and roll experience remained.
Right, Rob Dexter, bass player and singer for Kabang.
I'm Steve Bell. I was a singer-guitar player as well in Kabang from 2000 2008, primarily at the Rock and Roll Beach Club, but we did a lot of dates out there on the West End stage as well here at Pleasure Island. That's what our thing was.
I think I preferred to play the Beach Club because it was more personal. You had people right against the stage. Yeah, we didn't fit the mold of a typical Disney band.
Not at all. And back in the early, mid-90s, our hair was down our butt.
Gross.
I mean,
Slimy.
You know how the rock and roll
Spit.
thing is.
Gross, Heather.
Similar to mannequins, the Rock and Roll Beach Club had guests entering into the club via a balcony and looking down onto the main floor. The major difference was it was the third floor balcony, and you had to take the exterior stairs. Once inside, it was non-stop rock.
It's okay. Yeah, I just can't sit still. So like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Just lay in bed and watch TV and do nothing. I can't do that.
We played, towards the end of the night, some of the heaviest stuff.
Like, I could sit in bed and do stuff,
They were good.
but I can't just.
And that was it in drinking, obviously. You couldn't, no drinking. You couldn't drink. And
Not only would the Rock and Roll Beach Club feature local rock favorites, but once in a while, they'd host
What's putting me the most in pain, what's causing me the most trouble right now, is my ovary.
one of the first live performances from
My
a
wrist
little-known
is
boy band
okay.
called In Sync.
Put your hands together. Let's get ready to rumble. It's JC, Joey, Chris, Justin, and Lance. And sing. Let's do it.
South of the Rock and Roll Beach Club, right next to Mannequins, was a bit of a different vibe. The Pleasure Island Jazz Company
He had
provided
his
live
little
entertainment for
kids
mostly
playing
an
and
older
singing
crowd,
for adults in
featuring
Pleasure
world-class
Island.
jazz musicians, some that took residence at the club, and some big names in the jazz world as well. The club opened in 1993, 4 years after Pleasure Island debuted. This location was previously home to a food court named Merriweather's Market, named after the island's fictional founder, Merriweather Adam Pleasure. See, around the island, you'd be able to find plaques posted outside almost every nightclub, restaurant, or shop. These would provide fictional backstories on how the island came to be, with an unnecessary amount of detail. For example, Imagineers went all out to create a backstory on why there was a spinning dance floor and mannequins in the rafters of Mannequins. As the story goes, it was a canvas fabrication factory in the 1930s. Then, this is where they built steam and magnetic-powered locomotives, then yada yada yada. One thing I know for sure is that the people attending the island, and even those working there, for the most part,
Congo
had
line.
no idea about the Merriweather Pleasure backstory. As 0 of the 6
Oh god, a bunch of like stockbroker bros.
as much as the online message boards and Disney history forums like to tout the island's deep lore and backstory,
Making this
after the
face.
fact, a majority of those who were actually there were more focused on having the best time possible. Now, the nightclub offerings when Pleasure Island opened in 1989 were catering to a very wide audience. Not only did they want something for mom and dad to do, but Disney aimed to provide a spot for their teenage crowd as well.
There was a specific club called Videopolis East, which was a
Can't
kind of a
sit still.
copy of Videopolis out in California. Of course, you're coming at the end of the 80s, so you're on the tail end of the MTV.
That
You've
sucks,
got 10 years
dude.
of MTV.
I don't know
So
how
you
you're
had
doing
10
it.
years of all these videos.
The idea
I'd be
was to
going
create
stir
a
crazy.
high-tech teen dance club where those Pleasure Island patrons under the age of 21 could hang out while their parents were off elsewhere. It was a concept that had already been a proven success out at Disneyland in California, except this time it would be positioned in between a bunch of different adult clubs that were selling alcohol.
It was an interesting idea, but it was not the best idea. And there was a lot of problems with children getting hurt and in trouble and doing things they probably shouldn't be doing.
That child was
So
on
that
DRUGS,
closed
that
relatively
pacifier in his
quickly.
mouth.
One of the main reasons I kind of wanted to talk to you too is because Videopolis East was open for such a short period of time, so it's kind of hard to find people that worked there in general. Like, how long exactly do you remember were you working there for? Like, were you there up until it closed?
Now, the business model at the time was you had to pay to get in the clubs. The island was free. You could walk on and off all you want to. You just needed to pay to get into the clubs. And so everybody was saying, we really need to just ticket the island. Basically, Pleasure Island became, especially Videopolis East, became like a little babysitting place. Hey, mom and dad are going to go over here and, cut a rug someplace. You kids do whatever you want to do, just don't leave the island. Well, they could, there were all kinds of great things for kids to do that were passive.
It was terrible for those working there. It was a very difficult position to be in.
Taking care of all those teenagers?
Kids without parents, and alcohol that was involved. Not in that club, obviously, but the access to it. And there was a lot of gang activity when the island first opened because we did not have it gated.
In July of that first year, a fight involving a group of teenagers broke out just outside of Videopolis East on Pleasure Island, 2 of which were stabbed during the altercation. A full recovery was made, but as a result of this incident, and I'm sure many others of lesser severity, it was decided that Videopolis East would close. At the time, Pleasure Island would also start charging a flat entry fee and require wristbands to enter the island.
And so when you ticket the island, well, now we can't drop the kids off. We have to pay ticket to get in. The kids don't want to have to pay ticket to get into that. They would rather do something else. So it became quite obvious that they were going to have to retheme the club.
Videopolis East would become Cage, a 21-plus venue playing mostly alternative and industrial music.
When it became the Cage, now that we had a little bit more focus rather than Videopolis East, this had a little bit more focus. It's adult themed. We thought, well, maybe it's a little dystopian sort of thing. We never got to go take it all the way there. We kept the lasers, we kept all the lighting, of course, regelled some stuff.
Cage was only open for 2 years before closing again to be rethemed to 8 Tracks, a 70s and 80s themed dance club, which had become much more popular than either of its 2 predecessors and lasted much, much longer. For those not feeling the groove, there were some other options for entertainment around Pleasure Island. The first was a comedy club called the Comedy Warehouse. From the outside, the Comedy Warehouse would maintain the same former factory feel as Mannequins. Once inside, you'd find nearly every inch of the walls covered with props and signs from around the Disney World parks, including some rare Easter eggs for those die-hard Epcot fans with a keen eye. The theater itself was small enough to feel intimate and promote some crowd participation. This also meant it would almost always have a line waiting outside for the next show, which wasn't really a problem because guests and cast members alike adored this show.
Hi, my name is Deb Marino. I worked from PI from 1991 until 2004 in various different locations and jobs, all the way from tickets and parking to every single club, bartending, events. I even did some crazy stuff for, well, I can't talk about that. Comedy Warehouse was a straight up improv theater. It was basically Whose Line Is It Anyway before Whose Line Is It Anyway existed, even the British version. Comedy Warehouse initially it was a scripted show.
Comedy Warehouse's first show, titled Forbidden Disney, was a family-friendly parody show covering all things you'd never expect Disney to allow as part of a live show they produced, poking fun at the long lines, some of the not-so-great food, and how expensive it was to go to Disney. Oh, if they only knew. Once the jump was made to an almost strictly improv format, that was when the show's fan base really grew.
The skits were hilarious, and if you worked for Disney, they were a lot of inside jokes that maybe other people didn't get.
Obviously, being at Disney, there were rules for the improv. They couldn't just say whatever they wanted. They did say some things that were seen as, I guess, blue, but in our time now, people would be like, that's not terrible. But in 1991, 1997, they would have been like, oh dear, like, I can't believe you said that.
What is the matter with you now?
You're shouting and people are starting to
Oh, really? People are staring at us? Really? Are they looking? Okay, how about I give them something to look at? Yeah, there's the Magic Kingdom.
Across the walkway from the Comedy Warehouse was the Adventurers Club. From the mind of legendary Imagineer Joe Rohde, the Adventurers Club took guests to a private club for world travelers and explorers set in 1937. Now, this would take place within the world of Adventureland, from Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom. The Adventurers Club would be occupied by a cast of over-the-top explorers, a cabaret singer, a butler, a maid, as well as stationary characters that were
Stop moving. Anytime that any compression on that side. I wish I had somebody to take care of me. wish I had the possibility to be a baby. Lord Jesus, let me get stoned. I totally cannot put my car in gear. That's something that I can't do with my right hand. The pressure on these fingers, it hurts bad. But other than that, I was able to rake yesterday. As long as I rake with my left hand being the dominant hand, I can rake. If I try to rake with my right hand dominated, it hurt. But it didn't hurt if I didn't try to bend. As long as I don't bend my hand that way, or, you know, as long as I don't do this, I'm pretty good. Squeezing, the hardest thing to do, actually, the hardest thing to do when you're in the car and you, like, reaching to my cup holder is, like, down in, like, in the front of the thing, so it's not, like, right here. But reaching my hand like this to grab the cup out of the cup holder, the act of turning my wrist like this, squeezing and pulling up, those are all no-nos. Those are all things that I cannot do, or I'll damage it further. It's so weird how everybody's all fucking injured too. It's so common. I've seen my headlights, one of my headlights went out a couple weeks ago, and ever since then, and now I pay attention to roads, because I think that I pay attention when people, I recall almost every car I've ever passed, you know, with one headlight out, because I pay attention to that kind of stuff, and I'm always take note of it. But since I had my headlight out, and while I had my headlight out, I saw, like, a lot of cars with their headlight out. And I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if my headlight went out because, oh wow. I wonder if my headlight went out because of the storm. Like, maybe water got pushed in some place it wasn't supposed to be in, because that storm was so crazy intense. So I wonder if that's what happened to other people as well. If maybe their headlights went out due to, like, the storm blowing shit around.
In 1974, Jim Henson appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, performing a few select segments with fellow puppeteer and artist Frank Oz. One skit included two puppets lip-syncing to Louis Prima and Keely Smith's That Old Black Magic.
Oh, and spin, love and spin on me, under the old.
This wasn't the first time Henson performed this routine. By that point, it was a tried and true bit dating back to the 1950s. However, it was the first time audiences would get a glimpse of the puppet that would eventually become known as Miss Piggy. Fast forward 50 years, and Miss Piggy has become a celebrity unto herself. She's led television specials, written books, sold calendars, appeared on talk shows, and even been the subject of an enthusiastic Oscar campaign for Best Actress. 50 years is a long time to stay relevant, let alone beloved. Which begs the question, how has she, or the puppeteers behind her, done it? What did Miss Piggy signify upon her debut, and how has she evolved over time in response to a changing entertainment industry? In this video, I'll try to answer those questions and more, specifically taking a look at how her persona draws directly from classic Hollywood, and why I think bringing her into the modern age has been so challenging. This video isn't entirely comprehensive, and I'm sure the most fervent Muppet fans will have a thing or two they'd want to add, but I hope to offer an overview that does the diva justice. There's a scene in the 1948 film Easter Parade in which Fred Astaire, playing a Broadway star in need of a dance partner, bets he could take any one of the girls in a random bar and make her a star. He walks over, and who should be in the chorus but Judy Garland? We know, because we recognize Judy Garland, that that character surely doesn't belong in the chorus, that it's only a matter of time before she makes it big. That's what it's like watching Miss Piggy in the first season of The Muppet Show. Take the title sequence, for example. She appears twice, once at the beginning in a line of chorus girls, and again at the end. She's definitely there, recognizable to us in hindsight, but in 1976, not yet the icon she would eventually become. That she would become an icon at all was far from inevitable. Puppet designer Bonnie Erickson was sculpting a generic girl pig character for a skit called Return to Beneath the Planet of the Pigs in the 1974 special The Muppet Show, Sex and Violence. Don't worry, we will come back to that title. When Jim Henson asked her to craft a more glamorous version that he could use for some television appearances. That Tonight Show clip that opened the video, and a sketch on a special hosted by trumpeter and music producer Herb Alpert.
We quickly threw on a new outfit for the pig. I went to the eye drawer. I got some big eyes. I found some wigs, some better than others, I've noticed in the photographs that we've been looking at. And I quickly threw on a satin dress. And because I didn't have time to make new hands, because originally she had hooves, I just wired some gloves. She was named after Peggy Lee. When I realized that I could give her a name, and that was because I felt she was a very strong woman, very had an opinion, was very talented, and I loved calling her Peggy Lee until our attorney said, maybe we'll drop the Lee part.
Peggy, come on in here, Peggy. Herbie, I'd like to meet Peggy. Peggy, oh, this is Herbie, baby. This is your letter for success, Peggy. I'm telling him all about you.
Hello, Mr. Alfred.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And so, the icon we know was born. Kind of. Miss Piggy made her appearances and was quickly converted back into the generic pig form with those beady little eyes for the Muppet Show, Sex and Violence. Right, so about that title. In the early 1970s, Jim Henson wanted to develop a variety show for the Muppets and shop the idea around to various networks. However, network executives were hesitant, believing that because Henson had created Sesame Street, every puppet act he made was meant for children, and that wasn't quite right for primetime. So Henson produced 2 specials that served as pilots of sorts, meant in part to demonstrate that the Muppets could be mature and subversive enough to entertain adults too. The Muppet Show, Sex and Violence, wasn't as controversial as it sounds, intentionally based at really wacky, one-off individual numbers, while also allowing the audience to gain affection for the characters as they get to know their quirks more intimately backstage. In season 1, it's Hospital, a parody of medical soap operas with Rolf as a doctor.
Just a triangle. Probably it'll be a shawl. I'm trying to develop muscle memory.
In panel discussions, sketches in which Kermit and his guests would debate a question of the day, which was rarely answered before the group descended into madcap antics. Broadly speaking, however, the moments that actually developed Miss Piggy's persona into what we recognize today happened in the backstage plot-driven scenes. Those sketches established the central tenet of Miss Piggy's character. She is obsessed with 2 things, show business and Kermit. She angles for a better role or bigger billing.
Miss Piggy, the gifted and glamorous, beguiling, sensuous, and sensational star of the Muppet Show.
She flirts with Kermit or becomes wildly jealous of anyone who gets his attention instead of her.
Oh, it's okay. I'm doing it with Miss Mousy.
At first, these facets of her personality come across as rather surface level, as if they sort of just decided, okay, this character's thing is that she's hopelessly in love with Kermit, and he's not into that.
I want to make you happy. Good. When you're happy, the pig is happy.
But eventually, as Frank Oz spent more time portraying the character, he came upon an idea that would give Miss Piggy immense depth and stirred the curiosity of audiences around the world, opening up the potential of who Miss Piggy could become.
In rehearsal, I had a scene with Kermit, and I was supposed to slap him, and for some unknown reason, I karate chopped him. And that just created Piggy for me, because she is really a truck driver underneath.
By the show's second season, Miss Piggy had ascended the hierarchy of characters, with a new and improved intro reflecting her status, plucking her out of the chorus and placing her at Kermit's literal right hand. The more frequent and complex Piggy's appearances on the show became, the more critics attempted to outline her rapid rise and widespread appeal. Many of them defined Miss Piggy by comparing her to actresses from the golden age or classical era of Hollywood. For example, Elliot Sorkin wrote in Film Comment, "The stately reserve of the Garsons and the Shearers, the demure constraint of the de Havillands and the Deborah Carrs are well within Miss Piggy's range, but she is, above all, a sister in that exclusive sorority that counts among its members Garland and Holliday, Magnani and Moreau, Bankhead and Bernhardt, and of course, Davis." One critic quoted in People magazine wrote, "Miss Piggy combines the explosiveness of Anne Bancroft, the vulnerability of Judy Garland, and the soul of Greta Garbo in a body that drives men mad." There's always something a little tongue-in-cheek when talking about Miss Piggy, particularly about her sex appeal, but the truth is, these quotes are right on the money, because, in my eyes at least, Miss Piggy is a wholesale caricature of the classic Hollywood diva, lampooning the dynamics and standards of stardom. From the way she moves to the way she responds to threats, Miss Piggy is the ultimate reflection of Hollywood ambition, obsession, and glamour run rampant, and it's absolutely fantastic.
The part shall be played by moi. By you, Miss Piggy? Yes.
Interviews with the creative minds behind Miss Piggy confirm that the actresses and films of classic Hollywood inspired them when developing the character. After Oz became the primary puppeteer for Miss Piggy, he devised an origin story for her, a 4-page Stanislavskian biography that informed how she saw the world. "As I see her," he said, "she's had a couple of different affairs before Kermit. She was lonely, she was hurt very badly, and she'd rather not talk about it. She was hurt in one affair very badly, and I think her mother mistreated her, and her father died in an accident on the farm. She left home after her mother noticed that Miss Piggy was getting more attention from people than she was. So Miss Piggy left home, began fending for herself, and entered a lot of beauty contests. She tried to threaten the judges beforehand, but she wouldn't sleep with them. She's a lady. She won second or third place a lot. She survived on the prize money for a while, and when that ran out, she really had to struggle."
Did you first learning this, Kermit? Well, you know that your fiancée, your girlfriend, left home as a teenager after graduating from charm school? That her first job was at a department store selling gloves?
I'm proud of that. I was alone. I was single. I was proud of that.
Okay.
I
As
made
a
my
model,
own
she was forced to pose for certain ads. One for a bacon product.
I'd rather not talk about that. That's outrageous. You never told me that stuff, Piggy.
Okay, Kermit.
Something a woman sometimes has to do.
The story Oz invented reads like it came out of Photoplay magazine in 1938 or 1954, describing women like Marilyn Monroe, Joan Crawford, or Clara Bow, themselves the subject of thinly veiled origin story films like The Goddess and Inside Daisy Clover.
The story of a woman who became a movie star.
I make $4,000 a week now, Ma. Do you know that?
A more comic version of Piggy's past would be told in the Muppet movie in 1979, which chronicles how the main cast of characters first met up with Kermit and made their way to Hollywood. We encounter Miss Piggy in the Bogan County Beauty Pageant, a crown she obviously wins with ease.
This year's Miss Bogan County, Miss Piggy!
And just as she's crowned, she spots Kermit in the crowd and is transported into a fantastical dream sequence in which she imagines her romantic life with him, each vignette offering its own glossy escape, again drawing from cinematic references like Tom Jones. Some of Piggy's most famous sequences, like this introduction in the Muppet movie, are absolutely littered with specific references that the writers, costume designers, and the rest of the Henson team explicitly included to evoke classic cinema, specifically musical comedies from the 1930s and 40s. The Great Muppet Caper from 1981, for example, includes 2 such numbers for Piggy. The first, a dining room dance sequence inspired by the 1935 film Top Hat, which casts her as a Ginger Rogers type figure. The second, a water ballet inspired by Million Dollar Mermaid, in which Piggy takes up the Esther Williams role.
I loved Esther Williams growing up.
Gives her an introduction echoing one of the most iconic entrances in all of cinema, one quite literally made for royalty, an Egyptian parade just like Elizabeth Taylor in Cleopatra. But it's not just these one-to-one recreations of cinematic moments that make Miss Piggy a reflection of the classic Hollywood glamour queen. It's everything. It's the way she carries herself, her concerns, the things she wears. Consider the physicality Frank Oz gives Piggy. She enters a room and leans melodramatically against the door. She constantly whips her hair from side to side in a huff or swipes it away from her face. She sighs, each one heavy with emotion.
I used to act like Miss Piggy when I was a little girl.
I'm too delicate for show business.
Where acting in the 1970s
I used to
skewed
go,
toward naturalistic, finely detailed performances influenced by the method, Piggy wants to hit you with the emotion first. She wants you to know exactly how she feels, so Oz dials everything up to 100. A performance style so self-evident and big would have been seen as outdated by the 1970s, harkening back to the kind of acting done by actresses trained for early 20th century theater, who relied on highly expressive flourishes to reach the back of the house, or actresses trained in silent cinema who needed striking demonstrative physicality in the absence of dialogue. Your Betty Davises or Gloria Swansons. Variety shows in the 1960s and 70s loved to parody the extremities and bigness of acting in the Golden Age by imagining that women who acted this way on screen acted this way in real life, believing that they were the distant goddesses that the movie studios sold them as. Carol Burnett provides probably the greatest examples of this. Some of her best remembered sketches are spoofs of films like Mildred Pierce and Gone with the Wind.
Oh, Max! Max, don't let the autograph hounds hurt me, please, Max, please!
This sketch about Sunset Boulevard has the exact same comic logic as a Miss Piggy sketch. An actress is doing the most, none of which is actually justified by her surroundings.
No! No, please don't bother me! No autographs! No!
What I love about Piggy's physicality is that it feels like that's what she thinks or has learned an actress is like, and that's why she does it. Oz understands that a young pig trying to escape the farm might consciously put up a veneer of sophistication. Piggy acts the elegant diva and mimics the things she's seen them do on TV, but doesn't understand that nobody actually behaves that way in real life. It reminds me of this scene.
I
in
guess I
comedy
better go
My Man
vegetate.
Godfrey. Carol Lombard's character is devastated that her crush isn't returning her affection. So she enters the room just like a distraught Miss
That really
Piggy,
depends.
leaning in doorways dramatically
Crochet would be
into the
faster.
distance and delivering the most unhinged melodramatic dialogue.
Maybe.
Where do you want the sandwiches served, Irene? What is
I don't know. I like both.
something you eat, silly? You want the
Knitting is different because
don't you?
I don't know. Knitting, it's just those very it's the rows, just rows back and forth. With crochet, you can go up, down, left, right. You could go any direction. So I don't know. It's personal preference. I like both. I'm gonna make a sweater next.
Remember what Frank Oz said about Miss Piggy?
She is really a truck driver underneath. She has an autograph that's called curlicues. She had to practice that for weeks. Because if she actually did her signature,
She puts on airs, but the real Miss Piggy underneath is always perceptible.
I'm gonna go and maybe like get some dinner.
Continental language.
I'm gonna go run to the restaurant and go get some food.
Class and culture that she doesn't actually have.
Maybe I'll be
So her
back later. I don't know.
vocabulary is
We'll see.
humorously limited to
But I'm gonna vegetate now, like a good girl, after I get some food in my belly. So later.